Shouts out Big Steve.
Welcome. Another episode of the Big Brain MMA podcast. I'm your host, like usual, Big Steve. We are going to attempt to make some money on this week's MMA organization card weekend, should I say. We did make money last week, and there was a lot of regionals, which was a good bounce back after my big loss the week before that. So let's get into it because there was a lot of cards. Let's start with A1 Combat. Don't usually bet these, they're not number one on my list, but it was the first one of the week, and there was some stuff to be bet. Christian Avalos, I ended up betting him at plus 140. First, I had half a unit, and then I said, you know what, I need to get aggressive here at this value, so I made it to win half a unit. So thank God he mauled Figueroa in one round, so I won 1,500 there. That was a good start to the week. Then we had LFA. I thought I had some good bets there. I bet the Sierra, Din Woodle, Hope Chase under 2.5. Both these girls are basically getting rear naked choked or knocked out in their losses. It was plus money. It was $2.40. After they run in the Discord, bet it. They ended up closing the under 2.5 line. So just my friend hit it at the same time as me. So yeah, that line got destroyed. And then Hope Chase pretty much was strangling the crap out of her for 5 minutes straight in round 2. And I was at a wedding and I was like, yeah, this is losing. But yeah, that was a good bet. I don't mind that. I lost 750 there, half a unit. And then I had a little poke on Tiani Lopez over Shannon Clark. The physicality was the issue, but I thought she was a black belt. I liked her entries. And turned it on, and straight away she's got an easy takedown. I'm like, yeah, this is a good bet, whatever happens. And yeah, then I just fast forward and she just, face down on the canvas somehow. So yeah, I think I didn't really rewatch that one back, but I heard that she just got mauled with the physicality, which was the issue. So I lost 1,200 there, I think. Both lost 500 poke and half a unit poke. Then we went to Cage Warriors. Only had one bet. It was a bad week for me to cram. I had a wedding and a few other things. I just had a unit on Chase and Blair, which I posted on my Twitter. 1,500 to win 750. So that was good. We're in profit now. And then finished off with some PFL. As I said, a lot of regionals. Didn't have many bets here again because, again, not much time. So I had Al-Qatani by KO. The under was a popular play there. I just thought this Weasel guy was going to survive for a while, and it did. Obviously, bet online limits are tiny. I played 350 to win 562. It's something. It's a quarter unit. And then I just had half a unit on Ferreira Beta, 750 to win 750 at Pick'em. So 1,300 there. So I won over 2,000 on the regionals. And then on the UFC, which I literally had barely anything. I had one money line on Torres at $1.80, which cashed, thankfully. What else did I have? I brought up the wrong card. What happened last week? Who was the main event? Ortega, that's right. So I had $50 on Lazy Boy over Bonda by sub. 50 to win 400, so that was good. Then I had 350 a quarter unit on Chares to win by sub. I said that on the podcast. I said I didn't retape it. It was going to go the exact same way. And then, yeah, pretty easy. It was almost like a replay of the first fight. And then what else? I had Jesus Aguilar by sub. No, not him by sub, but that fight to end in sub. And yeah, just a bunch of guillotines everywhere, failed guillotines. I thought that was a little bit tilting. But I said if that hit, I was going to hit Barcelo's sub. Obviously, it didn't hit. Fate didn't want me to have it. So I live bet Quinones for $1,000.44 when Barcelos was out grappled in round 1 and he looked completely washed and he looked like he pulled his shoulder out. So that lost. Props to him. Obviously, Manuel Torres, 1,500 to win 1,200. Thank God he won. That was my biggest bet because I would have been quite tilted, hitting those couple of sub props and then losing 1,000 on Quinones live bet and then passing on that sub. I hit Sam Hughes under 27 strikes in round 1. That hit easy. She had 17. I had Daniel Zellhuber in a parlay for 1,500, which was annoying because I parlayed him with Moreno. I hit Ortega. I live bet Zellhuber as well. I hit Ortega live twice, $3 something and $2 something. And I hit Brandon Royval live twice when it was plus money for some reason, even up to round 4. So I ended up on 3,000 something. Almost a $6,000 weekend. Finish on 11,000 for the year. Brought me back. So that was quite good. very long review. So had to get that out of the way. So yeah, good bounce back spot. And now I'm getting a really sharp guest on. Mr. Dogfather, how are you, sir? First time?
Hello. What's up? How's it going?
Not too bad, man. Just finishing up my huge freaking regional weekend review.
Yeah, what a week. We said we'd be back, and we're back. Look at us. We're so back.
We're always going to be back. We're always going to be back.
I lost $20,000 last week,
Yeah, I lost 30,000. I actually had to get a loan from the bank so I could gamble. Thank goodness. Yeah,
I took out an equity line on my home, but now that I've won it all back in a week, I'm feeling good.
Yeah, I couldn't take. I didn't have any more equity left because I lost it last week, so I had to borrow money from my dad. All right, shall we get into it, man? Because I've got an appointment later.
Let's go.
Alrighty, so let's do it. Loik Radzhabov versus Al-Selwady. So I see a lot of Selwady's a popular play. Obviously, the lines moved a bit. Some sharps hit it. Some non-sharps hit it. And yeah, what do I say? I don't think I'm getting much line on Al-Selwady's current line, but I'm struggling to really get a proper read. I used to think this guy was chinny, and I kind of didn't play anything against Hardwick. Can you still hear me?
I hear you.
I don't know why my camera just turned off. Cool.
Shambles.
I'll get out and back in when I'm finished my breakdown when you're doing yours. But yeah, I thought it was a bit chinny, and then I'm watching, and that's why I didn't really touch anything in the Harry Hardwick fight. I kind of regret not playing the over. My sharp friend that I did the podcast with said let's play the over, and I didn't because rewatching it again, I do think that it might be a little bit chinny. Obviously there's 2 KOs against Rua and Lantinga. The brutal knee, brutal elbow, clean. But he was knocked out one more time in round 1 in 2014. So I just think there's something there. And I posted the Nick Compton fight is 41-year-old dude on Fury, 12-9. I posted him landing a straight left on the counter, and the guy just started backing up. I don't like his striking. It's a little bit herky-jerky, the high guard. It has a bit of a rab about him, a lot of footwork. But yeah, I don't like it. I don't like the striking. It's just all over the place. But yeah, it does look improved. It does look to have a cardio advantage. So I don't know. I don't want to say it's a dog or pass for me. I do think Loik had some issues against Rebecki. I think Rebecki has ranking potential. I don't. The jury's out on Al-Selwady still. I don't think so. I think Rebecki is an absolute savage. With the durability, with the power, the wrestling, and he seemed to compromise. If he wasn't compromised in that fight, he definitely seemed to compromise Loik's leg with one inside leg kick. Right, the calf is safe from southpaw, but it just destroys the knee, and it looked like the first one absolutely destroyed his knee. And before that, man, he beat Esteban Ribovic, right? Which I bet Ribovic there plus 250, and that's a good win in the UFC, and that's going to look even better. The more wins Ribovic gets. So yeah, I don't think he's washed. I think he just got destroyed by Rebecki there. So yeah, I don't know. I think he's live to KOs Selwady. For being honest, he's a hard man to hold down. I think they have a lot of similarities. These guys, they're brutes with takedowns, they constantly rinse and repeat takedowns and bad control. So I think we get a bit of a scrap here, man. I don't think it's. I personally can't play the line on Al-Selwady where it's at. If anything, I'll just live bet him, and the overs are a bit. The unders are a bit cheeky actually at plus money. What do you think?
I played Selwady at minus 150, and then when the line. I got more time to tape it, and the line blew out, and I thought about it more. I actually just got off a couple yesterday. I think there's a little bit of over evaluation in the market for Selwady here. I don't think he's shinny, but I kind of agree with Steve where I don't really like his striking. It's very stiff, and it feels like he's not really comfortable on the feet. You can tell Loik on the feet, he likes to throw. He's fine with throwing down and getting in a firefight. But Selwady, if you just kind of get up in his face and press him, it's Selwady is just going to circle the cage and just throw pretty much harmless volume at you for no reason. And I don't really see him separating himself against a guy like Loik who's super physical and strong, especially striking on the feet. I really think Loik's cardio issues are from grappling. I saw it in the Roosh Manfio fight. That's round 4. He goes to shoot a takedown. He gets him down, and Manfio pops right back up. And he immediately it looks zapped. like a minute and a half into the round. So I don't think he has like the worst gas tank. I just think he gasses out from grappling. I mean, and I think the wrestling kind of, in my opinion, like the only way that Sawadi's covering this line is if he's pushing like a heavy wrestling grappling pace. And he's, engaging in grappling sequences where he can wear Loik out. But outside of that, like, I don't really see how we get to this line. Just because of Loik's level of competition. I agree. I think he was compromised in the Rebecki fight going into it. He missed weight. I don't think he's ever missed weight in his entire career. And I'm not sure if Ribovics was on short notice or Loik was on short notice.
Loik was.
Yeah, like Loik's on short notice there, and he beats Ribovics like in a 3-round fight. So is he really like that gassy? He grappled a shit ton there as well. So like I think after going into retape, like I think this is Loik or pass. Like I think this fight's dog or pass, to be honest.
It has to be. He pushes the pace. He gasses out because look at the muscle that he has on his body, man.
Yeah, he's huge. And to be honest with you, like Hardwick made Sawadi look small. Like, and Loik's a gigantic 55. Really, Loik made like Manfio look pretty average, and he's got to be on something. So.
Everyone's on something, man. I also want to say, like, look at the durability of the people that Loik is fighting in the PFL, man. Like, he's got Ward, he's got Manfio, he's got that Alex Martinez guy. It's just like durable, like elite durable guy after elite durable guy, and he's Schulte is like the worst as well. Iron Chin, pretty much. So he's going 5 rounds with him. So this guy's always in wars. But you see, as soon as the fight started against Ribovics, hurts him twice with an overhand right in round 1, then hurts him again in round 3. I don't know, man. I just don't see this as anything other than a war, unless Ribovics is washed, right? That's how that fight looked against Rebecki. But I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt. Like, he didn't look washed against Ribovics, right? It looked like, as I said, short notice. It looked better than he did against Rebecki. So let's move on. I got nothing at the moment, but yeah.
I mean, just thinking about the market here too. Like, I think he was like a slight dog to Rebecki, like 125, 135 range,
yeah,
and he's
the market moved in on Rebecki as well and made him a bit unplayable for me. I was expecting another competitive fight there, to be honest.
Yeah, same. Like, I mean, Rebecki's a beast. Like, imagine if Rebecki and like Sawadi fought. Like, it probably looks worse than that.
It'd be round 1 KO probably.
Yeah, he just bodies him.
Alrighty, that was good. Vinicius, Oliveira, Benardo, Sopaj. So I just wake up and I hear that this is on, and I see bloody Dixon Sider saying this is Sopaj, the sideline is moving. I'm like, who the hell is Sopaj? And then I don't know what to say. These guys scrap. I looked at a little bit of Sopaj's fights. I don't even know what the line is. So when you do maybe you can tell me what the line on Bet Online is. But yeah, both these guys scrap. I know Oliveira, I bet him on Contender, and Sopaj, I just watched these last 3 fights quickly, but I don't know what the line is, man. So maybe you can take it away.
Yeah, I can see why folks are like wanting to. There's been a lot of action on Sopaj. Like, I think it opened minus 185 Loik dog here, and it blew up to like minus 150. And once the line got to plus 200 on Sopaj, a lot of money came in on him. So now the line settled at like around minus 140, like plus 120 Sopaj. And I get it. He's 23, seems to be improving. He's at a good gym. It's not really on short notice. Like, he was preparing for a fight on the 9th. So he was in camp. And I think he fought a couple weeks ago, like when he got that nasty KO. Like, it probably was like maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago, I believe. He fought at the end of last year. So he's probably in decent shape. Like I said, he was getting ready for a fight on March the 9th. So figure he'd be in shape. So I think the market's, taking like notice of that. It's not really like completely on short notice. He's been in the gym. His game is, in my opinion, it's pretty basic. He kind of just throws jab 1-2 and some calf kicks. The wrestling's decent. But overall, like, I think he's pretty physically imposing. He's athletic. But to me, like, his game is very basic, and like, I don't know like what athletic upside he has, because he's not like a huge bantamweight. He's pretty athletic and powerful, but when we're comparing it to like Oliveira, I just feel like Oliveira has a lot more weapons here. He's got better calf kicks. He's more dangerous. He's fought the higher level of competition. He's beaten the higher level of competition. And folks kind of want to just look at the chinks in Oliveira armor here and, look at the Talib loss, just look at how he fights where it kind of breeds volatility and he's a juiced favorite. So they're going to lean with Sopaj. But I like Oliveira in the spot. I might bet it. I haven't really considered. The totals, not really something I'm interested in. It's set at 1.5. I believe it's around a pick 'em right now, or I think there's some steam that came in on the over. It's like minus 150 now. Not really interested in totals just because of how Oliveira fights. Like Sopaj could die at any moment, and then Sopaj could kill him at any moment as well. Just him leaving himself open. But I just feel like Oliveira has more gifts athletically and physically, more dangerous in the grappling as well, and a higher level of competition. So I'm going to side with Oliveira here.
Nice, man. Nice. FIFA X Gaming. Shout out to Big Steve and Big Dog. I'm BSB456 in Discord. Best MMA betting Discord in the world. I finally know who you are because you're always in here, but everyone bloody has a different YouTube name to the Discord name. So
this is a perfect time to plug the Discord, Steve.
Nah, it's fine. I will. I'm doing a marketing strategy where I just don't bring it up for a whole year. And then
how's it going?
It's all right. It's all right. I think people talking crap about me the last few days has actually got me a bunch of subscribers, which is strange.
That's good. You should just keep telling people they don't know how to bet. Is that how it works?
I think just the people that don't like the guys that don't like those cappers, they just signed up to me as a thank you. Like it's kind of. And I've also gotten a lot of Twitter subscribers, even though I'm not looking for drama. Just ever since that random drama, everyone's just following me on Twitter. It's just weird.
Yeah, and you still haven't beaten the allegations yet, so we'll see.
Yeah, well, as I said on Twitter, like I'm 5'9", so it's clearly not why people call me Big Steve. So
that's true.
all I'll say.
That's true. Proof? Question mark? Link? Question mark?
What is this? What are we in court? Come on, man. One day when everything falls apart, then I'll open up an OnlyFans.
Beautiful. I'll be the first subscriber.
Yeah, I know you will. Dixon, for the record, Brazilian name Vinicius don't do well in the UFC. Vinicius Moreira, Vinicius Salvador. Oh, there you go. Some narrative, juicy narrative right there.
Sopaj is the side. There you go.
Christian, Leroy, Duncan, Ribeiro. This is it's a nice little step up for Duncan. Can't be any worse than Dennis Tululian. And it's an interesting fight. I don't mind it. It's going to be a scrap. And it's probably going to be a weird fight. I get this weird feeling it's going to be two unorthodox strikers. That's all I'll say. And neither of these guys have really orthodox striking for MMA. But yeah, I don't know. What do I make of this? I'm not definitely pass on the Chris Leroy Duncan side. He's never really worth that line unless he's fighting cans in Cage Warriors. Like he used to be a money train for me. Just parlay him against any single person he's fighting over there. And then Ribeiro, I think Ribeiro can crack. I think he's got really quick hands and a brutal leg kick, so the athleticism could maybe close up here. And I just don't know what's going to happen in here. Leroy starts slow. I was extremely disappointed in both his fights. Fair enough, Aiemann is a tough challenge when he's such a good kickboxer and and he's so unorthodox. But then again, Dennis was pressuring him and landing the 1-2, and it took him so long to warm up and so long to start landing something clean, almost the end of round 2. And his wrestling is dreadful. I just want to say, dreadful wrestling. And he tried to take, what's his name? Petrosian down. And he's like the one guy in all of UFC not to be able to take Petrosian down. And then he ended up getting taken down himself in round 3. And I was like, this is pathetic. And then he tries to take down, what's his name? Tululian for like the whole round 1, and they're against the cage. And I'm like, this guy must have, it's two of the guys with the worst takedown defense in the UFC. And he can't buy a takedown. So I think we're going to get a lot of cage pushing here for some reason. Claudio, he's pushing a lot against every single fighter. He hurts Joseph Holmes, and then he clinches up with him. He hurts Roman Kopylov at the end of round 1, and then he goes for a takedown. So, yeah, I don't get it. I think because of that, I kind of like the over, and it used to be plus money. I think now it's pick 'em. So the tail of this card for me is I hate everything and I consider some totals, and then the totals move, and then I literally hate everything, even the totals. So, and I'm not talking to anyone about it. And people seem to be seeing the same things, and then they move that total, and now most of them feel accurate, kind of. But I don't know if this one is accurate. I feel like 1.5 should maybe be the over should be favorite, because I don't see like a round 1 KO for either of these guys. But I do feel like maybe Ribeiro could be chinny. His defense is awful, but it's such a volatile fight. Like with Duncan, you don't know when a spinning wheel kick, when a spinning elbow, when a flying knee will land. It could be round 1, could be round 2. I tend to think it's round 2 or 3 usually with him, especially if he's getting taken down and cage pushed. But yeah, pass fight all around for me. Dog or pass if you're brave enough to play Ribeiro. But yeah, I guess maybe a low bet Duncan. I don't know. It's one of these binary fights, man. What about you?
I might be brave enough to play Ribeiro. I'm considering. I think the calf kicks will play a big factor. He throws some nasty ones, and like with how Leroy CLD stands in like that karate stance, I think the calf kicks are going to be open for Ribeiro, especially when CLD is like darting in. Yeah, I don't know if he's chinny, but his striking defense is just absolutely terrible, and he just kind of does nothing until he's just sort of like leaning back and forth, like trying to counter you. So the over makes sense, right? Like we could get a staring contest here, but with how bad the striking defense of Ribeiro is and how hard he hits, like I know, people think he's awful, but he hits like a truck, and he's super physical. You kind of hit on CLD, and I feel like shockingly, like I feel like Ribeiro could probably land takedowns here along the cage if he wanted to, because CLD is not at great defending takedowns. We saw it all in Cage Warriors, and Ribeiro can get guys down, like if he along the fence when he just goes and drops levels to get like a double leg and locks his hands. I do think there's an angle to pay Ribeiro here if you think we're going to get a lot of cage push. Maybe he lands a takedown, maybe he clips him, and the line is kind of at the point where, like, are we really trusting CLD at minus 300, like close to 75% at this point? Like, I don't think Ribeiro is that bad. But will I get to it? I don't know. I do think there's value to play on Ribeiro here. But don't really want to touch the totals because it does seem super volatile.
Cute. Oh, I was just fucking trying to get some water. All right, let's move on. So I think we can move past this one quick. Javid, Basharat, Aiemann, Zahabi. Yeah, unplayable line. I don't think I'm really interested in playing this dog in Zahabi just because of the volume thing. So Basharat just very smart, like his brother, and he's going to have a lot more volume than Zahabi. And even as Zahabi cracks him, I don't really see any chin issues. So, Kurt, Steve disappeared to make a Drake video. It's the only way to clear my name. Alrighty. And if people say it's small, then I'll just want to own up to it. I'll be like, that wasn't me. That was dog fight. Yeah, you agree, man? We can move on and just fight, unless you like something.
I guess the over could look like fucking 90% here, to be honest.
Yeah, I thought about that, and interestingly, no one's been talking about it. I know my friend and Pepe, like they're good at smashing, the minus 200 and under overs, and still finding some value on them. I personally usually just pass because when you play that what's her name, Brazil and Loma under, because you thought some meme was going to happen. My friend just smashed the over at minus 200, and he still got some value on that. Like
that was massive value, yeah. But I've learned from my mistakes, So
yeah. But I'm just saying, I'm not really good at those. Like I see minus 200 and I see a total. Like I'm good at totals because I've been burned so many times. So I'm just like, ooh, when I see chalk on a total, it's like, ooh. But this could be one of those. I just haven't really looked into it. I mean, I know well.
For me, it's like, how does it's kind of one of those things where I'm like, how does Zahabi fit? Like, how does Zahabi finish? He's got to crack him. Like, what percent is that? And then Basharat finishing it most likely has to be like a sub. And like, do I think Zahabi probably has solid enough submission defense to survive? Probably.
No, he won't be a sub. He's a really good black belt from his brother, but I think he'll be like an attritional damage kind of thing because Basharat, he busted up. Trevin Jones, he busted up Gravely. Cut him up early in the fight, and so it's going to be like an attritional like because he throws a lot of volume.
Yeah.
He hurts people. He's just, I think that's the decision people have to make. But let's move on to the other fight. Ľudovít, Klein, AJ Cunningham. So this is, as I mentioned before, the tale of, liking totals and then they get ruined. So obviously unplayable line on Klein, and everyone's like, oh yeah, I played the under against, he's going to knock out AJ Cunningham, and then I'm like, wait a minute, didn't this guy only get knocked out for the first time ever in Contender Series? I quickly looked into it because it was on Bet Online, and obviously these lines get destroyed ASAP as soon as they open up, just like Klein's money line. And I'm like, this is going over, man. And it was plus money, just like a bunch of other totals we'll talk about that I wanted to hit. And then I'm like, I'll wait. People seem to think this is going under at a high clip. Klein's going to wrestle. He's literally four guys in the UFC that are chinny, right? Devontae Smith, Jake Herbert, Ignacio Bahamundes, and Nate Landwehr. I remember massive favorite against Nate because people thought he was going to spark him just like this. And he couldn't knock him out, right? He hurt a couple of them. He's just so negative, right? So I was like, play the over. And then, I don't know, I went to training, came back, and it's pick 'em. It was plus money. It was decent plus money. So, now I'm not really interested in anything. But I do think that the over should be minus money. I definitely think for it to end in a KO, it needs to be like a clean head kick, right? Because even if he hurts AJ, he's just going to go for a takedown or something, or he's going to jump in his guard and his ground and pounds. He's just going to sit on him like what he did to Bahamundes. So it's another pass fight all around for me.
Yep. I share the same thoughts. I like the over when it was plus money, and limits are like 250. So I still might get to it at Pick'em, to be honest. Like, I favor it probably closer to 60%. Klein's not really a big finisher with the hands, to be honest. And Cunningham, if we saw anything in his last fight, he's tough. And I think he has a black belt as well. He trains with, pretty sure he's like a teammate at Bryce Mitchell. So I would have to think he's a decent grappler enough to survive against Klein, who's not necessarily like a smash and pass guy, or he's not like a very, wouldn't say intelligent jiu-jitsu player, but he's not like an elite level jiu-jitsu player where I feel like he's just going to run through him on the mat. So really, I'm just, fading a massive head kick from Klein early is kind of what I feel like, which is personally possible. And maybe he might crack him with the left hand and kill him. But, outside of that, I feel like he's a tough SOB. And, I do favor this to go over. And when limits open now, depending on where the line is, I'll probably jump on it.
Nice, man. Nice. Eryk Anders, Jamie Pickett, the Nightwolf. Let me just address Dixon Sider. Steve, don't let the fact that he's Bryce Mitchell's cousin fully not take it into capping at all. He's a human punching bag. Yeah, he is, but it's like he had a lot of brutal boxing combinations from Steve Wynn, And as we said, like, Klein is just going to be negative, He might not even hit him in the head. He's probably just going to do some body kicks and stuff.
No, Wynn's probably a better pure boxer than Klein.
He 100% is. He's all clean boxing combinations. And a lot of, like, most of it was him getting caught with speed and combinations, it was like a 1, 2, 3 and then dropped them. It was just brutal.
He was fine till the end of the first round until he got clipped, and at that point he was pretty much done.
And he almost made it to round 3 as well after that.
Yeah, but exactly.
He was just eating like boxing bag, speed bag combinations on the chin, whereas Klein's gonna throw one. And if he's super aggressive like Mason Jones, then he's gonna be vulnerable. But I don't know, we'll see. Yeah, this fight is another pass for me, man. I know some people, parlaying Anders, as a one last hurrah to fade Pickett, which, I'm all for. I parlayed Friend when I was in Europe, like a juicy parlay with McGee, pardon me. But I don't know. Yeah, man, I hate Anders. This just reminds me of when I threw away money on bloody Devin Clark trying to fade Prachnio, and I avoided that all week, and then I got greedy. So no, thank you. Maybe the over got smashed at 2.5, but this time I wasn't really interested in this over. Even though I always underrate Anders' power. I think he's just heavy-footed and big. But when I bet him against Dorcas, I didn't expect. That was a hard click for me. That's how much I hate Anders, even though he's a big dog, and I didn't expect the KO, and he did it. So I'm sure he could break Jamie Pickett, right? We've seen Dennis Talulian break him. So I think a KO is possible here, but yeah, I got nothing at the moment. I'm not interested. There's no way I'm playing chalk and praying for Pickett to survive 2.5 rounds. What about you?
I played Anders sub around openers on Bet Online. Domestics will probably have like a better line, but I feel like the sub's pretty live here. Pickett's been submitted a bunch in his career, and like he is pretty wilty, but that's like, you know, if you have a dude that's going to be in your face, you know, throwing at you. And Anders, to be honest, he's just going to throw like a big 1-2 and then like push him up against the cage. And I think he's just going to throw a big 1-2 and push him up against the cage and try to take him down. Pretty sure he's got his black belt recently, and he's been competing in a bunch of Fury grappling competitions. You know, so he's definitely, he recently beat Kyle Dawkins in a grappling competition. I know it's like Fury grappling, right? But he's clearly been focusing on his grappling, and Pickett's definitely got a hole when it comes to the grappling. So at the current line, I'd probably pass, but at like plus 800 when I played it, which, you know, getting near around 10%, it's like, do I think, you know, Eryk Anders can submit Jamie Pickett at like a reasonably higher clip than 10%? Yeah, that's a pretty easy click for me. Yeah, but outside of that, I'm not really interested. Anders should cover like, in theory, like minus 400, but you know, he doesn't really ever cover that price ever. But it's really just blind fading Jamie Pickett here. So
yeah, I will say that Pickett, if you give him someone that's not physical, not athletic, he can beat him, or like Gaziev, like Joseph Holmes. And you know, they gave him Josh Friend, who missed weight. He looked absolutely dreadful, and he was actually taking Friend down. He had someone that was weak enough for him to be, and he still couldn't do it. He still lost 30-27 on one judge scorecard. So he doesn't have any athletic advantage over Anders. So I think he's drawing a bit thin, but I still can't parlay Anders. It's just nothing in my body will let me do it. So even the greed, which is massive in my body, will not let me parlay him. And wow. The greed is like, you need bets. Just parlay Anders. Nah, won't let me do it.
Just do it. Just parlay him with Umar. That's a great bet.
Yeah. That's how I get to the promised land this week, I think. Alrighty, Matt Schnell, Steve Erceg. I thought I would like Schnell, you know, just because I've been on my boy Erceg twice now, and you know, he's quite hittable, right? And I played him at a big dog against Dvorak, and I played him at around 60% or 55% before the line moved against Costa, and that was only because, you know, Costa's a little bit chinny, and I trusted Erceg's IQ if he went into round 3, and it did, and it was 1-1. So thankfully for that, but you know, I watch Schnell and I can't do it. You know, not only the chin, but the IQ. He has no defense. He just, you know, as soon as he gets cracked, he becomes even stupider than he already is. So it's like, I can't trust this guy to win. You know, like, yeah, that won him against Sumodeji. You know, he got cracked, and instead of, you know, backing up, he just kept coming forward. But that's not going to help him here, because Erceg's going to just snipe him. He's not. And Sue is a bit of a flake as well. You know, just Tim Elliott completely ran through him, hurt him, and then submitted him. So, yeah, so tail of this card again. I look at the under. The under minus 1.5 was massive money, and then he got hit, and I was like, all right, I think I should jump on this over now, right? Because pick him, and how many times has Schnell been finished under, right? But Pantoja and Nicolau Bailey, and yeah, Royval, and you know, didn't get knocked out by Tyson Nam somehow. Finished a bunch of dudes, which is not going to happen here. Rogerio Bontorin cracked them a lot. You know, didn't even get dropped. Sumodeji went over, almost went to round 3. Yeah, Nicolau hits a lot harder than old mate Erceg. So I contemplated that, but a little bit of money came in on it again. I think it still might be playable, but it's such a scary bet, man, because that 1-2 down a pipe from Erceg is going to be there. It's what he hit Costa with at the end of the round, straight to mount. You know, what's Schnell going to do after that when he ends up in that position? He's a smart enough, you know, jiu-jitsu guy, so maybe he can survive. But it's like, again, you know, his chin's not that bad. You know, it's not like Malcolm Gordon bad. So he gets dropped, he gets wobbled, but he can stay in there. So it's like, maybe if Erceg drops him a couple of times, and Erceg, you know, 2 chinny dudes, Dvorak and Costa, and went to decision both times. So if anything, you know, I'm contemplating sub now. Sub is not too bad. I thought I would like KO, but when I taped it, I'm like, nah, it's sub or nothing personally. You know, he's just going to crack Schnell, and then whatever plays out on the ground, it's going to be a finish that way. But yeah, I was kind of thinking of double dipping, going the over 1.5 and then hitting Schnell's Erceg sub. Hopefully both hit like over the 1.5, or it just covers me if the finishes under. What do you reckon?
I like it. I kind of had the same thoughts. Looked at the line, said, ooh, Schnell's going to be a play here. And then I taped Schnell, and I'm like, I can't do it. I do like Erceg. I'm with you. I played him in his last 2 fights. So I favor the submission here because if there's one thing Erceg does, he'll crack somebody and then just go jump right on a guillotine. So if you're playing the KO, you're hoping that, like, Schnell just gets deaded. And, like, Schnell hasn't really been deaded ever. He just gets cracked all the time and just survives just a little bit long enough. So that's pretty live here, for a club and sub. So if you're playing the KO, it's kind of like, that makes sense. But if you see Erceg fight, it's like every single time he hurts somebody, he like goes right to jump guillotine. So don't want anybody to get burned on that. I like the over, but once again, like, Schnell could die at any moment. And like, Schnell actually has, decent power. He cracked Pantoja with the left hook. He cracked Sumadarji with like a straight right after getting his butt kicked in round 2. So like, I think Schnell hits a lot harder than folks probably give him credit for. So could he hurt Erceg? Yeah, he like barely moves his head, but I feel like Erceg can probably just survive if that happens and it goes over. But if Schnell gets clipped at any moment, he might just tap to a guillotine, like double tap like he did to Royval, and like, before it's even like the arms even connected. So pass all around for me right now.
Nice. Probably could have cut that breakdown a bit shorter if you were passing everything. That's all right. We'll live and we'll learn, I guess. I just want to address this guy and we'll move on to the next fight. We might have to punch out the next few because I'm short on time. Why is everyone acting like Schnell is Shannon Ross? His chin isn't that bad. He's been rocked but not slept. Does Erceg hit harder than Makashate? I don't get that one. Erceg has 0 knockdowns in the UFC. I don't know. He should have knockdowns because he definitely knocked down Dvorak with the head kick. If not, hurt him with a straight, but he knocked him down with a head kick. And he definitely knocked out Costa. But I think because Costa shot for a takedown, it looked like, as he was falling down, it looked like he wasn't hurt. But Schnell was out cold, man, against, I don't know if you watched UFC back in the day. He was knocked out cold against Hector Sandoval with like the weakest hammer fists. He was definitely out cold against Pantoja, flat on his face. And that same kind of knockout was against Nikolai, flat on his face. So, yeah, people fade him because they can clearly see that he's chinny, man. Like, doesn't have to be out cold. But I do agree, it's not Shannon Ross level, right? As we said, that's why we like the over. But it's the defense, right? It's the defense is the issue. When you have a bad chin, you have to have good defense, like Arlovsky recently. But this guy doesn't. So, yeah. We're really comparing Erceg to Royval. Man, Erceg's better than Royval. Get that bum out of here. Royval, freaking, that main event was disgusting. I never want to see Royval in a UFC fight again. That main event was disgusting, and his Pantoja 5 round was disgusting. Just negative takedown defense and can't bust a grape. And he needs to finish against Pantoja, and he just can't do it. He's just like slapping air. And then he's like, I want a rematch. I'm like, dude, you lost 4-1. Get out of here. Erceg kills Royval. I don't care what anyone says. Can't wait for that fight. After Royval like loses a title contender or something, give him Erceg. Alrighty, I have no strong take on here, my man. Honestly, Umar and Bekzat really looks like the Kazakh version of Umar. Honestly, come at me, people, if you disagree. But that striking, that kick heavy striking, the movement in and out. He's explosive. He's got good grappling to fall back on. I saw like 3 head kick KOs. So I'm like, this guy's literally like Umar. Maybe they think it's going to be an exciting fight. But I think he's quite good. It's a shame he's getting Umar here. I think he might be like a minus EV loser. The only issue with him, I've seen him hurt in the fight that he's won. His level of competition is good too on Octagon. I've seen him hurt. And, he did get submitted in 1 loss. So it's like, I think he's going to put on a competitive fight here. But I still have a feeling like ultimately he might get submitted or finished, but I don't know. I don't have a strong take. It's just obviously the favorite is completely unplayable for me. So yeah, I got nothing.
I might take a poke on Bekzat here. I think the line's a little bit crazy for his level of skill. Like, we're getting to the point where it's like Umar is getting close to like 95%. So, I mean, if I can get like a 5 to 10% edge on, like I think Umar still should be like 80%, 85%. But like if I can get a little bit of an edge, I might take a little poke on Bekzat. I feel like, you know, he's probably going to lose. But this line is insane. You know, especially just kind of based on Umar's last couple wins. Like, they're impressive, but Wash, Barcelos, Brian Kelleher, the great Nate Maness, and Sergey Morozov. It's like, I know, you know, the market thinks he's like a future champ, but he hasn't really beaten anybody to indicate that he's a minus 1,200 favorite in the UFC against a guy who's pretty good. So
you're gonna poke? You're taking the step?
If it gets to, I don't know, I'm just gonna wait. I'm not in a rush. Like, I feel like we get to some ridiculous line later in the week where it's like plus 1,000, and I feel like I can just throw, you know, $100 on it and watch the fight and see what happens. So
cool. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's a tough one. Like, this kid's extremely good, but yeah, I mean, Umar is as well, man. Like, all right, we'll see. Maybe I find something to play.
I've heard people saying considering like the point spread, like the 3.5 point spread, which is like plus 350 or 400, but I'm not a big point spread guy.
No, especially because, as I said, he gets hurt, and I've seen him submitted. So
yeah,
it's like, if you're confident enough, just hit the dog, you know.
Yep.
Alrighty. UFC ain't bringing in a no-name to beat Umar. Well, no shit. That would just kind of ruin their whole hype for Umar.
It's still, I mean,
I agree.
Still,
lucky. Fuck points spreads.
I like this guy. Yeah. Tell him, Tim. Thanks, buddy.
He's very good, man. Uncle Weezy, Dogfather in the house. Big ups, both of you. I think you said something else. Yeah, what's up, Big Steve? What's up, Weezy? I was talking to Dog, mate. I would love to have like you and Lou one day, and an old man panel with me. Just two daddies on each side of me. That'd be great. Under 1.5, and the fight goes a distance at plus money. Yeah, I'm considering under 1.5, considering, you know, the sub and the KO upside. But all right, not much time. Alex Perez versus Muhammad Mokaev. So another one where, you know, I'm not interested in the favorite. I know a lot of people shitting on Mokaev, and I see they're like getting their donations ready on Perez already. You know, hey, get this line. When this line gets to this, I'm going to donate. So which is fine. It is what it is. But yeah, I'm not in that position. Again, another one. Or I said to Dog, you know what? Now that I think about it, all these lines that I said to Dog, they've moved. So he's obviously the mole here. I like the under the 2.5, and then I wake up and it's Pick'em. So, and then the more I thought about it, look, I liked it because I was kind of leaning Mokaev late round sub. So I looked at Mokaev sub, and it's pretty disgusting as well. So that would be the only way I'll play it. But I mean, it's just, you know, I hit Mokaev round 3 at $9 against Tim Elliott, and now I have to play barely plus money for his sub. It's just, you know, it makes me sick. What about you?
Massive pass fight, all the way around for me. Like, I don't know anything, you know, what Perez has been up to, and like I went into thinking he was a lot better on tape than I thought he was. His striking's pretty okay. Like, it's technical and his leg kicks are good, but you know, I don't think it's anything that's going to deter Mokaev from shooting takedowns and getting his game going. Like, I feel like the only way that Perez probably wins this fight is like locking up a front choke or something.
What about the calf kicks of death?
Yeah, possibly.
Those calf kicks, they kill black belts, elite level black belts.
Yeah. I mean, Formiga, you know, the glory kickboxer, he couldn't handle them. So
tell me that wasn't the biggest meme result ever, dude. I'm pretty sure I had Formiga there.
I don't remember what I played there.
He just got kicked 3 times and he was done.
And he just died.
Memes.
Best calf kicks. I mean, I'm pretty sure like Alex Pereira taught Alex Perez how to calf kick. That's how he got it. So that's what I heard on this word on the streets.
It's a trap. All right, Glenbot, don't take the under 2.5 at pick. I mean, I just said I'm literally not taking it at Pick'em. I like the plus money. I like the plus over 1.5, $1.44 in division. See, I can't trust someone like Perez to make it. Like, even his KO to Benavidez, that was also gave me issues that he's chinning. I mean, look at his submission losses, right? They're both in round 1, to Pantoja and to Figgy. Sure, they're probably a level above this guy, Mokaev, but yeah, I just can't. If the rumors are true that he's coming in for a paycheck, I can't trust them at chalk to make it out of round 1. Alrighty, speaking of making it out of round 1, Victor Petrino versus Tyson Pedro. I just realized that I completely zoomed in on the camera. Again, the tale of me liking the over here at plus money. And yep, I messed it up. I actually wrote this one in the Discord, and I'm like, why did I do that? It's just gonna get ruined. And then I woke up and it was Pick'em. But to be honest, I was deciding. I don't like to lock in my bets ASAP, and I was thinking about it a bit. But yeah, these totals, they didn't last long. It's scary because both these guys get hurt a lot. Petrino gets cracked. He almost got knocked out like twice by Pleasure Man, up kick, and then rounds 2 he was getting cracked. Got dropped by Bellardo. He even got cracked by Prachnia by an overhand right ASAP. So he doesn't really have the best defense. And Pedro, I think Pedro doesn't really have the durability issues. He's been cracked by what's his name, Khalil. I was actually live. That was my first event in Melbourne when I was a casual, and I was like, "Who's this Tyson Pedro guy?" And they didn't even have a photo of him on Topology. So when he started walking out, I was trying to bet it. When he was walking out, I didn't even know what this guy looks like. So I was like, "Oh, this guy's like an islander with all tattoos everywhere." But not what I expected when I read Tyson Pedro. I thought it was going to be some Spanish-looking Mexican guy with a sombrero. And I'm like, why did his parents name him this? This is weird combo. Anyway, yeah, I think he's pretty durable. I think he's got that Samoan chin, but it's more so like the takedown and, getting subbed and doing bad stuff when gassing out on the ground. And Petrino, I mean, I think he's just going to lay on him for a bit, and I think the over would look value there. So, yeah, it was going to be a scary one where they just drop each other. But now it's a pick 'em, and now it's like, again, I pick 'em. Now it's like you give a 50% chance for someone to get cracked. I will say Pedro is quite open. That check left hook that Petrino killed Bukakis with. Bukakis landed a check left hook on Pedro in round 1, and he just kept landing it over and over, right? He's got that karate stance where his hands are low, and he just keeps eating him, I don't know if Petrino is going to do that again. Usually just bites down and wings overhands. But that was the first time he was actually he composed himself and he waited for Bukakis to come in. He obviously made a read there. Maybe he makes a read here too, but yeah, I feel like these guys probably just stare at each other. It goes over, but at pick 'em, look, I'll give it favorite. I'll probably give it favorite. Like the over should be favorite. So maybe I play it again, but I don't know, man. Now I pick 'em. It feels like every single total that moved, I feel like I'm forcing it if I play it at these prices. So I got nothing here. If anything, I'm actually considering Pedro, right? That with how hittable Petrino is in round 1, and I got burnt on Pleasure Man. I thought Pleasure Man was going to break him. Everyone was like, live bet. And I'm like, nah, it's just Pleasure Man is extremely durable. Pedro will knock him out. And he proved me wrong. I mean, why can't the same thing happen here, If he comes in and he's sharp, he's definitely the sharper, faster man early, Pedro. It's just he falls apart late. So, yeah, this is the dog or the over here for me.
Yeah, I'm considering Pedro. I know the losses to Hua and OSP are bad looks, but I remember him going through a bunch of injury concerns during that time. His knees were shot. He's had a bunch of just health issues in general. So I feel like, some of those he looks flaky, but recently he's looked pretty good. But it's kind of hard to trust Pedro. It's the Bukowskis fight, he came out and was sick or had some the flu or whatever and couldn't even fight for 3 rounds. So he's a pretty hard guy to trust, but he's kind of in his prime. He's looked pretty good. He's coming off a big win to Turkali where he just starched him in round 1. So, there's a possibility that he comes out here and looks, this fight looks a lot closer than we think, especially early. And Petrino is hittable. He's very stiff. He's got good cardio. He's well-rounded and can grapple. Pedro's a pretty solid grappler as well. He has his black belt. I feel like he can survive on the mat for the most part. I don't think, I don't think, Petrino's the slickest grappler in the world at all. He's just massively physical and a unit of a man. So I do kind of give the pure jiu-jitsu edge to Pedro, and on the feet, I feel like Pedro's probably the more technical guy out of the two. He is pretty hittable. Like I don't have an interest on the total because I feel like Petrino just has enough power to bonk him, but Pedro does seem pretty durable. Like, so it's really just dog or pass for me on this one. I feel like Petrino's probably like a little overvalued here.
It's dog or pass, no doubt. Like, what's his I think Dixon saying I'm doing a rich and making Petrino the mush of the week. I mean, that's a lot of these favorites are mush of the week. Like it's not brain science, man. Don't be laying straight $1.30 on Vitor Petrino, right? Like that's, even though it's Tyson Pedro, the guy's not. I don't think the guy's that trustworthy. All right, main event, and we did it, boys. We've come to my bet. I finally got a bet. So hope you've tuned in. If you've tuned in, I hope it was worth the wait. This is a big Steve bet. I have one unit on Eryk Anders at +3. No, I'm joking. On Shamil Gaziev. So yeah, first fight I taped, and I don't know. I was like, yeah, this is gonna be a shit show fight. I was on the Gaziev train +2 150. The first time, and I had some sharp friends waiting for the line to settle, and they hit Budai. And I was like, yeah, a little bit scary. I'm going head-to-head with some people here. And, yeah, well, when that fight played out, just absolutely destroyed him. Looked like a 10-8 in both rounds before the finish. Didn't get touched. He was like over 50-something significant strikes for like 5. And that just came down, to Budai as a punching bag. He's losing rounds 1 to Collier and stuff. And I thought this guy was a ranking potential fighter, mostly because it's heavyweight. Even before his Contender Series fight, people saying, there was people even playing Velasquez back then too because of, if he gets into a grapple exchanges, Velasquez is a scramble black belt, and he almost got Gaziev almost got Kimura'd by that striker in Aries FC, and it looked like he didn't know how to defend the Kimura, to be honest. So I had the same issues. By the end of the day, man, like this guy he's got good hands, he's got good power, just absolutely pieced up Budai. He has good shot selection. He landed a stepping knee a couple of times. Like he's not just a brawler, not just a boxer. His hands are fast, extremely fast. That KO in Brave that lands in round 2 is just brutal. The uppercut that he deaded Stosic with is just absolutely brutal as well. Now I get it. Stosic, it's not an impressive win per se, especially at heavyweight because he's mostly a light heavyweight. But knocking out Stosic with one punch, when Jamahal Hill couldn't do it, no one can do it. This guy literally has an iron chin. It took Philip de Vries 5 rounds to lay on him and ground and pound him to get a finish. And in the end, Stosic ended up tapping out because he's like, the ref's not going to save me. So he tapped out from exhaustion and just getting the shit beat out of him for 25 minutes. And yeah, Gaziev just landed once and yeah, he put him out cold, man. Like he didn't want to follow up, but the ref made him kill him. So this guy has power, man. And I used to think Jairzinho was like extremely, extremely durable. I lost money against Volk. And yeah, it's like obviously he was clearly rocked there. Might have been an early stoppage. Herb Dean just loves to destroy me all the time. But yeah, he's super hittable, man. He's super hittable. Like he's there to be hit, and he also has no volume. It's scary. It's scary because I don't know how this plays out if he goes into round 2 and 3. But if Gaziev can fight smart, right? If he can come in there and be like, all right, I got 5 rounds to work. I'll be patient. He can look 60, 65, 70%. He can time the takedowns in every single round when he needs it. We've seen him go hard, and he has the cardio. He still got takedowns in round 3 in his split decision in Aries. By the way, I think that Russian's better than Jairzinho. He's like 16, 17, and 1. He's an ACA mainstay. He's beating everyone over there. He's the top of the heavyweight division. I think he can, just get takedowns and just separate when Rozenstruik lands a couple of kicks. But if he comes out super aggressive, like in every single fight, like he got dropped by Stosic by a clean left on the chin. He was getting jabbed at by that guy. If he comes in like that, not respecting Jairzinho, it could be a bit of a mess. If he wrestles heavy, maybe he slows down. He didn't need to wrestle against Budai because he is well-rounded. So, yeah, I thought $1.77. I don't know what that is, but that's better than 60%. I think that's like 50-something, maybe 57 or whatever, 55%. Actually, no, it's not 55. It's a bit better. Maybe you can tell me. But, yeah, I thought there was a ton of value. I think he has the massive favorite upside. Just play Jairzinho KO. Yeah, it could be sloppy, but I'm just riding him. I'm going to think what I do with it by the end of the week. What about you?
Yeah, I was thinking I was going to play Gaziev at like right around the line that you got, and then it kind of blew out a little bit, and I don't know. I don't know what to do with this one. Gaziev, kind of a little bit of a Terminator when he's on the front foot, just kind of like throws a ton of, his boxing is actually pretty slick. Like he, for a heavyweight, he moves pretty well on the front foot. Like he's actually slipping and moving and countering on the front foot, which you don't see a lot. A lot of heavyweights just kind of plod in and wing. He does have grappling upside here. He can be a little sloppy on the mat. Cardio issues, in a 5-round fight, definitely concerning. But, is Rozenstruik really going to push a pace that's going to gas Gaziev out? I think that's the question you got to have if you're playing Rozenstruik here. It's like, what's he going to do to gas Gaziev out? Like, Gaziev's going to gas himself out here, if anything. So you're pretty much just going to be fading Gaziev's IQ. I like Rozenstruik's power and counters. He's a pretty good kickboxer. His grappling's not like the worst, but once he gets flat on the mat, he's screwed. Like, for the most part, he can get stuck on bottom. He got up under Blades like a couple times, but Blades is a good wrestler. Is his control the best? I don't think so. I think Gaziev's mom, probably better on top in just terms of like passing guard and getting his dominant position. So they definitely lean Gaziev here at like 60 to 65%. But like, when the line was 58, around minus 130, 58%, I didn't really feel like I had a massive edge. So I just decided to pass. And, we'll see what happens in the week. But, right now I feel like with the concerns that I have for Gaziev and this being a pretty sizable step up, I can't get to a very aggressive, cap here on him.
Yeah. I think Gaziev is also live for a knockout. I think there's a lot
going. For sure. I mean, but I just, he's got great power. And I do think, Rozenstruik is pretty durable, maybe a little bit more durable than you think he is. The Volkov looks just like a bad look, a dude that hasn't really knocked out anybody with the hands in a long time. He just runs through him in round one, right? So, not really the best look. And he hasn't really been fighting anybody that are power punchers, like besides, maybe Overeem and Ngannou, and Ngannou just like, that's a whole different ball game, right? So I don't really count that. So.
Cool. All right. Well, that's that. I pretty much got no time whatsoever. Do you have a favorite bet on this card?
I'm gonna say the over in the Cunningham fight.
Nice, even at Pick'em.
Yeah, I favor it. It's like 60%. I think Klein's gonna. I feel like Klein's gonna grapple, and if he does, it looks massive value.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I wish I hit it yesterday. I don't know why I didn't hit any of these.
The limits are 250, dude. You can't get any money down without moving it like another, freaking 30 cents.
Oh, really? Oh, well, that makes me feel better then.
Yeah, you're good. Like, that's why they're moving so much. You have like the limits are too small. Like that's why I haven't bet any of the totals yet either. Like I got out, like, I haven't bet any of the totals because they're all 250 limit. At least the ones that I want to play.
Well, hopefully all the people that were listening get fooled by our fake leads and then they bet the wrong side so we can bet the other side.
Yeah, I've actually parlayed Umar, Mokaev, Petrino, all
I don't care about your square parlays, mate. It's all right.
Yeah, Anders parlay with Erceg. Yeah, so
yeah, but you actually did do that. You posted it in the Discord favorite bets.
Yeah, nice, I did.
Nice. All right, we're gonna go, man. I'm running late. Thanks for doing this. Find this guy on Twitter, even though he's barely on there. But yeah, we'll do it again sometime in the future, eh?
Yes, sir. Have a good one.
Will do. Thank you, boss. Like and subscribe.